Oh my gosh, what are we doing? I don't know. Hey everyone, this is Travis with another Whiny Parent podcast, and I'm back to talk about the latest episode from Survivor Season 40, Winners at War. Um, this was another fun episode, particularly like the final sequence with everyone scurrying about trying to find out who's going home. So it's Saturday, which is usually a little later than when I do these podcasts. I'm usually having them published before now. But with this whole parenting during the pandemic, the kids using both Megan and I's computer this week for some schoolwork. So kind of a little bit behind our normal schedule, but I'm excited to talk about another episode. Um, for those interested in the Fringe coverage, I'll be doing that later today as well and hoping to get that published by tomorrow or Monday. So today I will go through a brief draft update, my three top highlights, and a prediction for next week. And before I get to that, I just want to remind everyone uh, thank you so much for listening. And if you haven't already, head over to whinyparent.com where you can follow our blog. You can check out all of our parenting tips or date night ideas, our new bartender vlog series where I make cocktails, Megan taste tests, and it's just something fun for us to do. And hopefully, everyone else gets a kick out of it. Okay, uh, draft update. So, Megan this week earned a couple of points. So Megan has Adam, and although he was voted out this week, he had the most confessionals. So uh, she earned a point there. And with Adam, or excuse me, with Kim winning individual immunity, that she earns another point. So she goes from 10 to 12 points, and I didn't earn a single thing, so I am at 9 points. So Megan builds her lead back up to where it's been for most of the season. She's held a 3 or 4 point lead, I believe, for most of this season for our draft. And for anyone who just needs a quick recap, her team is anything you can do, I can do better. The players she has left in the game are Kim, Ben, Sophie, and Nick. I currently have Jeremy, Michelle, Denise, Tony, and Sarah left in the game. So this is the first time in this season where I've had more players in the game than her, but I'm still down 3 points. And the number of players I don't think is going to have too dramatic effect unless for some reason one side gets wiped out. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be probably a good balance of back and forth. Okay, quick draft update. Megan's still kicking my butt. Let's go into my top highlights. Um, I think my favorite point to emphasize is the producers of the show. I think they created this fun, chaotic final sequence before tribal council. Everyone was just going back and forth, voting this way or that way, back to this way to another way, and even this scene where you see someone coming, was it Tony coming back to Jeremy and just say, "Oh, we're voting another way," and Jeremy just starts laughing, and I think that it would appear that there had been so many changes that it's like just so laughable because you can't believe it's changing again. Which is great to see that his name wasn't part of that mix. So hopefully that continues. So I think the producers did a great job with this. Obviously, with the individual immunity challenge, that sequence of filming, that's a really tough challenge. So seeing everyone swaying back and forth, having close ups, but that final scene in particular, I just really enjoyed. Um, Highlight two would be Kim winning immunity. Um, Again, tough challenge. balancing on these thin strips of wood on this triangle platform on the water. So you're constantly moving, uh, something where the wind can have an effect. I think Megan and I were both surprised that the tallest people were left in the challenge at the end. Like right off the bat, I thought someone with a lower sense of gravity might have a better chance, but I was so clearly wrong. Um, and I think for Kim, it's just good to see this turnaround where she seems to be in a good spot, um, especially after the start of the season where no one seemed to want to talk to her, and she was kind of like just on the bottom and seen as like outcast, where they're not going to talk strategy with her, and so having what I think many people have said played the best game ever, to see her kind of recover from that. I think a lot of people are interested to see how would she recover from being blindsided in a vote or being on the outs of a situation. And I think she's done well. I mean, we haven't seen a ton of confessionals from her, but she seemed to put herself in a good position with Denise, Jeremy, and Tony, um, winning immunity. So I think she's okay right now. That could change, obviously, but I don't know. I just it seems like she's still somehow under the radar. Um, moving to highlight number three. Uh, I I know Adam has gotten a lot of airtime this season. I feel like there have been a lot of scenes where maybe he was very overconfident, and so I feel like there's been a little good and bad sides of, I guess, what we've seen, or at least what people have talked about online. I enjoyed seeing him take a shot at the potential of there being a hidden immunity idol at Tribal Council. Um, I think for me, I've never been like Adam's gameplay is very, I think, would be very scary for me if I were to ever play this game. Which please don't, let's not try to even let's not even try to talk about that, because that's just a joke. I can't even imagine like spending time away from the kids and Megan to do this. But so Adam's gameplay, I think, is scary for me because he has a way of wanting to get in with everyone and double deal from all sides in a way that maybe isn't as apparent. Um, but in this season, I think it was, he got caught early on, and I think he was basically trying to maneuver and make big moves and do what he can to like stay in the game, and so I can appreciate that, and I like that he's not being afraid to take a chance to go up in front of everyone, in front of the jury, to see if that fleur de lis was a real idol or not. And I mean, yes, you could look at it the way it was framed as if it was comical in a way, but the whole time I'm thinking, what else do you have to lose? Why not go for it? I think that shows incredible strength on Adam's part to be able to say, you know what, I feel like he sensed his where he was in the game. I last week the when he was voting and he said, it's between you and me tonight, Wendell. I know that. Do you know that? So I feel like Adam has a connection to what's going on. He has a sense to know whether or not he's on the bottom or possibly going home. And so he mentioned that maybe he wouldn't have played as hard that episode during that sequence of days during that episode if he didn't think about the idol. So would have Nick gone home or someone else? I don't know. But at that point where he feels like it's going to be potentially him going home, he takes a shot. He goes for it. Because if the answer would have been yes, this is a hidden immunity idol, even though it's stuck to the podium, if the answer would have been yes, it would have been an all-time moment in Survivor history. I mean, it would have been amazing that would have worked out. There's no doubt about that. So I give a ton of credit for Adam. I think he played extremely hard this season. And I think I've probably, maybe not talked about it here, but talked with Megan here at home. I've been critical of how much he extended his play with trying to reach into so many different pots. I think that hurt his game this season, but that's kind of what seemingly has been his style. So I can't fault him from doing what actually worked. I mean, he won his season doing just that. So, and hey, he got really far in this season, and it's not over yet. He can come back in the game, and if he gets back in the game, who knows? That could be a legit reason for people to look at him differently and say, hell, he was actually able to win a challenge against all these people, get back in the game. If he can make it to the final three, who knows? So him taking chances, him giving it a shot at that idol at Tribal Council, I think is great. So, moving on, prediction for next week. We see it's the family visit. And I believe Tyson is the one who arranged this whole kids being able to come out for the family visit. Because I believe he discussed it on an RHAP podcast where he said that it's something that they hadn't allowed before, but he fought for it for him. And I think if you let one person, everyone else has to have that opportunity, because we saw some kids showing up in the preview for next week. And so the fact that he made it to that point, so he pushed to get his kids to come out. He's able to make it to that point. I think that shows Tyson's tenacity, if anything else. And usually the winner of the family visit challenge are usually in a tough position, because guessing, having to decide who's going to be able to spend more time with their loved ones, who's going to be able to be stuck festering over not winning. And in the back of their minds, are some of the players hoping that they don't win so they don't have to be put in that position? I mean, will that type of regular impact with this family visit, with all winners being in place, will that really be the case? I'd have to say no, because I think everyone will have their own reasons to be voted off. And if they voted off the winner of the family visit challenge, I think that would just be an excuse to everyone else already know, and everyone's a threat. So 9 people left in the game. My first thoughts are Nick, Denise, and Michelle being in different spots. Nick has been on the outs along with Michelle. Denise's profile was elevated after the Sandra vote off. It does seem like she has more connections with people wanting her to stay in. So I don't know if enough people are worried about the Sandra vote off yet. I picked Nick last week, so maybe perhaps this is a moment when it's Michelle's time to go. Like I said, these picks are so difficult. It's hard for me to really pinpoint yes or no on anything, because there have been so many surprises this entire season. And that generally, Survivor, I think, does a good job at camouflaging who goes home in an episode. I'll say it's Michelle. Michelle's one of my players. And I'll just leave it at that. And I'll stop there. That's going to be it for me this week. Megan is still crushing me in the draft. Producers doing a great job, one highlight. Kim winning immunity, second highlight. Adam taking the shot at the hidden immunity idol at Tribal Councils, that's my third highlight. And Michelle going home next week is my prediction for who will go home. So everyone, thank you so much for taking time to check back in and listen to the Survivor coverage. I hope everyone is doing well and finding ways to keep themselves occupied during this scary time that we're living in. Thank you for listening. Until next time, I'll be back next week to cover the latest episode of Survivor yet again. I will see everyone later. All right. Talk to you later.